Hey, it's Catherine. I'm going to give you a tour of my garden. It's called Starlight Garden, and we are inside the Atlanta perimeter, even though it seems like we're kind of out in the country. I started it almost 1 year ago, and it's the second day of fall, now the day after the fall equinox, and a lot of my summer crops are going to get pulled out in the next couple days. So I thought, let's go take a look at it before I pull everything out. Would you guys like to meet the chickens? Here's our girls. That's Basil and Lavender. We have John Cena too, but she is up in the nesting box. My husband made this coop, and it is light enough that we can move it every week. So we just move the whole coop to a different spot, and it has a bunch of different doors. The top opens, and around this side we've got the nesting box, and it has doors that open in the top up where the chickens lay their eggs, and it has a door in the bottom where we can get their food in and out. And in just a little bit they'll have laid their eggs for the day, and we'll open the doors and they'll roam around the whole neighborhood. They are very free range. They go blocks in every direction, and they're quite the neighborhood characters. Okay, let's check out the garden. Ta-da! What you can see growing up the bamboo behind me here and here are Italian heirloom tomatoes. They are an indeterminate tomato variety, so that means that they will grow as tall as you can give them support. And about 10 feet in here so far. They might have kept going, but I just didn't have anything taller, and also I can't reach that high. At this point, caterpillars are taking over everything in the garden, and we've had so much rain. I've got some powdery mildew going on. I was tempted to clean it up a little bit before giving you guys a tour, but that just wouldn't be real, would it? These tomatoes are still producing on this side, and I'm probably going to leave them up for a little while longer. Mixed in with the tomatoes, I've got some zinnias and some bitter melon. Planted in front of my tomatoes, I have companion plants of basil and marigolds. This big old thing up here, this is a gourd. And it's just 2 gourd plants, but oh man, has it gotten huge since our last tour. Look at that. You can see the variety of marigolds. Then, oh, I don't know, 4 different kinds of basil. The tomatoes and bitter melon, and now the gourds are growing up the bamboo. This gourd is outrageous. Look at this thing. Whoa! So what I'm doing here is no-dig gardening. And that means I did not till this plot. I covered it, I smothered it. It was all lawn. It looked like this part behind me here. There used to be a house here many years ago, and then it was just an overgrown wooded field for a while, and then it was a goat grazing or sheep grazing pasture for a while. So The soil was really poor here, and there was no worms, there was no mycorrhizomes, there was no life in the soil really at all, and tons of invasive species, grasses, privet, blackberries. So what I did was, sorry, distracted by a squirrel, ADD problems. So what I did was lay 4 layers of cardboard across the entire fenced-in area. It's about 30 by 35 feet and 10 meters by 10 meters. And then I went over the top of the cardboard with wood chips, manure, topsoil, dead leaves. We planted clover in it. We spread basically any organic material that we could find, and we let the material sheet compost over the whole area for about 5 months before we started planting. My plan was not to bring in any more soil, was to build all the soil ourselves, but it really had to have some store-bought topsoil and manure come in at the end, just because some of my free soil resources were closed when we went into lockdown. So let's see what's going on. Let's talk more about the plants. I didn't do raised beds. Basically, the whole entire garden is a raised bed. There's cardboard under every bit of it, even the paths. And it's starting to break down. The cardboard's been down for about a year. And I'm going to go over the paths with fresh cardboard or newspaper and fresh wood chips really soon when we're doing our fall reboot. Behind me you can see the play structure that we built. It's now covered with bitter melon and pole beans, and it has been out here in the hottest, rainiest summer we've had in a long time. Rain every day. So things are looking a little bit waterlogged. But isn't it great in here? I love it. One of the biggest successes of our late fall harvest are these Chinese noodle beans. This is a red variety. We also have green. They're really tender and great in stir fries. I have had a lot of luck with beans. So everything's being eaten by caterpillars now. At the end, I'm just letting them have it. This is a bean plant with just the loveliest little French green bean. They're almost all gone. The leaves have been eaten, and it's almost time to pull all this stuff up and layer more compost on top of it, and then plant seeds. Behind me you can see the okra, the green Clemson spineless okra. It's about done. But it's tall, isn't it? It is like 10 feet tall. Some of the things out here I'm letting go to seed for next year. So you will see some of that. My red okra over here, it got knocked down by recent rains. It is the most beautiful color red though. I'm going to hold you up in a bush so you can see it. Ready? The loveliest red stems and tender red okra. Speaking of red, check out my hibiscus. First time growing hibiscus. Ooh, mosquitoes. Over here, we've got these baby eggplants. This one's ready to be picked. They're really small and tender, not very bitter at all. A lot of my plants are medicinal. So I've got St. John's wort and feverfew. Right here, cowpeas. This is a cover crop of cowpeas. They lock nitrogen in the soil, so I didn't have enough money to plant this area with the way that I intended, so I covered it in cowpeas. They're going to make the soil better and they are tasty. I've got the most delicious smelling rose geranium. Oh, this is a favorite. Check this out. This is lavender hyssop. Bees and other pollinators absolutely love it. And the little blooms, they taste just like sweet licorice. So you can make it into a tea and use the leaves and the flowers. It's in the mint family, really easy to grow. And it's bloomed all year long. I've got other things like for blooms like echinacea. It's already been harvested once and it's coming back a second time. There's a lot of oregano. And plants like this are perennials and they'll be back next year. Over here we've got ginger. Oh, I'm sorry, this isn't ginger, it is turmeric. Looks the same. And this big old huge thing, that is 12-foot tall Jerusalem artichoke. I had no idea they got so big. And they're blooming way up there. It looks like a daisy. These are the first line of Italian tomatoes that I put out, and they're gonna need to be chopped down because caterpillars have gotten them. They're not producing anymore. They got really waterlogged by the rain and they are yucky. There's my poor red okra. Oh well, I could stake it up, but I might just chop it down because I've eaten about all the okra that I can possibly eat this year. Along this outer bed, this is my first bed, the winter bed that we put in first at this time last year, just so that we would have something green out here to look at while we were doing all the soil building. I've got more lavender hyssop, and the happiest one is really tall. Lots of oregano and a couple different kinds of mint and lemon balm. These guys have already been harvested this year. We've got a spearmint, a chocolate mint, and my grandma's lemon balm, as well as a white sage. Okay, the mosquitoes have found me, and I'm gonna have to check and see what my kiddos are doing. So there's so much more that I could share with you about the ways that we tied up our tomatoes, the plans for next year, more details about what's going on in this bed of flowers and perennial herbs. But I've been chatting your ear off already for a while, And I appreciate you touring out my garden with me today. I wish you could come play in person. See you later.